Hi, I'm Shaka Hislop, and you're here at Extra Time TV.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Extra Time TV. This is Andre Sokla, and a lot has been going on, the Euros and the Copa America, but of course, it is the worst kept secret in the world that I'm a huge fan of South American football, and I'm a huge fan of Argentina in particular. But today, I'm not alone. We have the one, the only Juan Arango. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I can't complain, man. I'm looking forward to Colombia. I'm looking forward to the match against Argentina. I'm really excited about what is to be, and well, the Copa America officially begins for Argentina.
Yes, and I'm trying to avoid sounding like one of those pilots on airlines, when they usually say thank you. I know you have a lot of choices, but I like to thank you all for choosing Extra Time TV. But let's get straight into it. This has been a interesting tournament because we'll start with Argentina. A lot of people thought that they were just going to cruise to the final. I didn't think so, and I'm pretty sure you didn't think so as well. And they did did not play at their best, but they did get it done. They played Canada twice. I think they really kind of stepped it up a little bit in the Canada game. And of course, Colombia is a team that has a lot of momentum. The fans are with them, and this is a team that we're seeing the resurrection of James Rodriguez. So, we'll break things down really consistently for you guys, folks. But Juan, what do you think about the contrasting fortunes of both teams heading into this final?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Argentina basically hasn't gotten out of third gear. So they had an easy bracket. Now, easy doesn't mean that it was going to be, smooth sailing. There were going to be some bumps along the way. But it wasn't really these types of bumps that you're going to say, well, Argentina's in trouble. I mean, the biggest trouble that they've had, if you want to call it that, is Ecuador, no doubt about it. And there's a problem with Argentina because people are still comparing them with the team from 2022, which is not a bad thing. But what ends up happening in all of this is that this is a team that comes in much tired than the 2022 side. The 2022 side was much fresher. Obviously, the calendar has a lot to do with it. Also, the conditions were much better. The pitch conditions were much better. Infinitely better. I'll be honest with you in terms of that. And this is not me saying it. There's people that have been at the stadiums and have seen the pitches themselves, have said how dry, how poor the grass is. I mean, it's kind of a weird, even James himself said that it was a carpet that they just threw on top of some synthetic turf. So there's been a lot of issues when it comes to that. But going back to Argentina, it's a team that had an easy bracket that really did have there's a whole great deal, and they did just enough. So they haven't faced real stiff competition compared to the other side of the bracket, where Brazil, Uruguay, Colombia had to face each other. Of course, had to stave off a couple of challenges from other teams. But it was a much, much harder side of the bracket on the other end.
Yeah, correct. That was one of the things that everybody pointed out. That's something people are talking about in the Euros with England as well. But that's another discussion for another time. They got to the final just like Argentina as well. And you brought up the point with the pitch before we head into the details. Obviously, Argentina, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people are expecting the same team from 2022. And they were expecting Argentina to just cruise through, which, to be fair, they didn't do that in 2022, and even then they were fresher. They started off with that loss. We all know about that. But, how much has the pitch conditions really affected their play? We know exhaustion is a factor. We know Scaloni likes to play those little triangles, and, it's a very sometimes pragmatic Argentina when they need to be. Do you think that heading into the final, this is something that Messi also brought up as well when he came to Inter Miami. He had some issues with the pitch for both teams. What do you think? Do you think that was really a big factor, or Argentina is kind of people wearing some cracks?
In terms of the pitch, it's for everybody. I mean, it's everybody having that issue. It's everyone having that problem. It wasn't just the pitches where Argentina played. I mean, Mexico talked about it. Brazil talked about it. Colombia did as well. There were a few injuries of note that occurred and weren't Argentina players. Luis Advíncula being probably one of the most prevalent. Uruguay talked about it. So it was one of the themes of the Copa America, the lack of organization from a logistical standpoint, from a pitch standpoint. There was a great deal of money that was promised to FIFA to FIFA that the stadiums would invest in terms of upgrading their surfaces. And I mean, the most primary example was the first match between Argentina and Canada. Then Scaloni says it's impossible for us to play and have a quality match where you end up being on a surface that was just laid down 2 days before.
Yeah, you know that's it looked obviously really bad because I mean,
and it looked bad. It looked bad the other day too at MedLife.
And that's the thing, you know. A lot of people, you know, that's a whole different discussion we'll talk about. But you know, the overall tournament, that situation that happened after the Uruguay game, and just a lot of questions, more questions and answers. I think that will definitely have to be sorted out with the World Cup coming up. But you know, obviously you cannot talk about Argentina without talking about, you know, the little guy from Rosario, Leo. He hasn't been at 100% even before the tournament. You know, he had some injuries. You saw it with Inter Miami. You saw it when he played against Monterrey. You know, he has been, you know, trying to manage it, I think, the best way he can. But we did see a different Messi against Canada, because against Ecuador, I mean, yes, there is the physicality of Ecuador, and they'll probably face the same against Colombia. Do you think that, you know, Messi is still... Let me rephrase that. Do you think Messi's going to be in a... I was going to say if he was going to be a deciding factor, which he usually always is. He gets one chance and does something special. But do you think that, you know, the Leo Messi, present-day Leo Messi, is he at... we know he's not 100%, but do you think he's going to step it up for the final?
Well, if he doesn't, then there's... I mean, it's hard to motivate someone that's won everything.
Yep.
It's like you know, the old, what do I buy the person that has everything? To really, wow, you know. And for Messi, you know, if he doesn't win the Copa America, his legacy's set. Okay, if he doesn't win the next World Cup, his legacy's set. You know, nobody's going to like him or hate him more or less if he ends up winning more title or not. Maybe at Inter Miami if they end up winning MLS or they end up winning CONCACAF Champions League. But in the grand scheme of things, this Leo Messi looks run down. For the first time in his career, he looks run down. He looks, you know, the recovery process isn't as quick, isn't as fluid. He hasn't been playing at the intensity level that demands of a team like Argentina, especially, and maybe we'll see it on Sunday against Colombia. Maybe we won't. I don't know, because one thing about this team is that when Messi kind of is a little bit crestfallen, they all rise up. So that ends up being interesting to see how that comportment will be. But if Messi continues, there's a big if right now, although I think that it's not as big as many think it is. He'll most likely continue, is that you will see the effects of him playing in MLS for a year really come to fruition in World Cup qualifying. Maybe not so much in Copa America, but in World Cup qualifying, where he's going to get kicked. He's going to get hurt. He's going to, you know, people are going to, you know, it's all, you know, all stakes are on the table, and you have to make sure that you come out and win. So if it means tackling Messi, if it means being physical with him, so be it. It's going to happen. Colombia are going to do it. They already did it in the last Copa America match that these two teams faced off in, the match that went into shootouts. So he should be well aware of that.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring that up later on, but, you know, let's get into the tactics, I guess. Scaloni is a very tactically flexible guy. He seems to, in the big games at least, from what I've seen. He loves in finals, it seems, to go with that 4-4-2. You know, we went over what's going on with Messi right now. A lot of people are asking questions because Messi is not at 100%. And, you know, we have a supposedly aging Angel Di Maria who looked fine. These guys, what you get with them is that, you know, those magical moments. However, you know, that tracking back, that ability to press and run around and give those extra legs is something that people raised against Ecuador. Do you think Scaloni is going to take that chance and play Messi and Di Maria, or do you think he's going to come with something different? What do you think?
Well, if he does play with Messi and Di Maria, then Julian Alvarez has to play up top.
Yeah,
because when those two come in, it's not me making things up, or people will say, "Oh, you're a Messi hater." No, I'm not. In Argentina, if you see Messi and Di Maria and Lautaro Martinez, there's not much mobility going up top. It's a team that's not as mobile. Julian Alvarez is when people start looking at stat sheets and don't start looking at the other things that go on with a player like him, then he's not that good. Oh, he's overrated. No. The work that he does off the ball, the running around that he does, the pressing that he does when the opposing team has the ball, going and helping out, going out wide, playing inside, trying to associate, everything that involves that type of work rate, he is amongst one of the most important in the world when it comes to that. Look at City when he's on, look at City when he's not on, and it's only Erling Haaland. So that's another reference there. And of course, that's something you got to tell Pep Guardiola as well. But when you see those two players on your starting 11, then automatically you know Julian Alvarez is going to have to be there because you need mobility, especially against Colombia. And Di Maria in a final, you have to have him. And it'll be interesting because Di Maria will most likely be on the left. If he's on the left, then he's going to have an interesting assignment because he won't be facing Daniel Munoz, who's been, in my opinion, and many other people's opinion, the best right back in this Copa America. He's going to be serving a suspension after the match against Uruguay. So it'll be Santiago Arias that'll be playing over on the right. So it's a drop-off in terms of overall quality. I'm not saying that Arias is bad. I'm just saying that Arias is not at the level that Munoz is playing right now. So it'll be interesting to see if Argentina is able to exploit down that their left side, or Colombia's right in this match.
Yes, and you rightfully brought up the last time they played each other was very physical. I remember looking at that game, and Messi was a decisive figure in that game. And it sounds, there's no way I could not speak about this guy. But knowing this and heading into this game, Colombia's obviously in a hot run of form right now. And, this Argentinian team, a lot of the old guard are stepping down, supposedly. We've heard this before, but, guys like, Otamendi and so on. Let's talk about the defense for Argentina, the back four. I've seen, Scaloni use Martinez at the back. Well, I have to be specific. There's Dibu and then there's Lisandro, folks. The same. But do you think that he's going to go with the experience of Otamendi this time around? Because he had that combination of Romero and Lisandro. Do you think he's going to switch it back to Otamendi or maybe go three at the back and surprise everyone? What do you think?
I would think if he does go for Otamendi, it's not because of experience, or not necessarily experience. It's because of size. Because keep in mind, you're facing the team that has scored already 5-6 goals off of set pieces. And you have 3-4 options coming in, Davinson Sanchez, John Cordova, Lerma. You have a boatload of options inside an area for Colombia when it comes to set pieces. And not only that, James Rodriguez puts that ball on it. He basically puts it on the player's forehead. And that's where, when you're Argentina, you have to be very wary of that. And Colombia match up very well, not against just Argentina, against everybody. They match up well in that facet of play. And that's been why it's such a great equalizer, or something that basically puts them over the top, or if it doesn't put them over the top, it creates a distance between them and the opposition. And that will be interesting because, like you said, Lisandro Martinez, the size, but he's a great defender, but there comes a time when you just don't match up well when it comes to size. You just don't. The other players are taller than you. That's basically it. And not only that, they jump much higher than you. Will it be a difference? Probably. And that's what Colombia's going to be aiming at. Every time they have a chance for a set piece, every time they're going to have, especially later on in the match, Argentina are going to have to be very careful when it comes to set piece, for the fouls that they do concede, because that's one thing that they have done. They have conceded certain fouls in certain areas. Against this team, you can't do that, because the way James plays, even if James is out and they bring in Juan Quintero, he's able to put the ball on the dime too. So, it's something that Argentina is going to have to be wary of, that facet of play especially.
Yes, and we can't not talk about Colombia. Let's be real. This story has been great. Not just James Rodriguez, who seemed to be lost in the wilderness for a little while, but he's back. It seems like, Colombia has reactivated this guy. He's a player I always liked, and to me, it was a shame it never really worked out. That's, like I said, another discussion. But, Colombia heading in, there was a lot of emotion. And I bring this up because I always remembered back in 2018 when they played England, and also in the 2014 World Cup when they played Brazil. And I would even use Brazil as a better example. Peckerman was the coach. And I really liked their chances back then. And it seems as if both in that game and in the game against England, the emotions got the better of them and they stopped playing football. Because we know they can't get very physical when they have to. And after that game against Uruguay, no, I get it. Passion, they got to the finals. I love that. That's why I love South American football. But before we get into the tactics, do you think that perhaps the emotional aspect of it maybe will work for them or against them?
That's a good question. And it should, and it shouldn't. I mean, it sounds lame. It sounds like a very lame answer.
Yeah.
But emotions should carry you through, but they shouldn't bring you down. And I mean, I could go back and say, no, emotions could have brought them down because Daniel Munoz gets sent off. Richard Rios ends up being taken out of the game because of injury. At that point, Colombia could have just faltered. They're playing down 10 men. They're playing, had to play more defensively. Uruguay's coming, really just going in wave after wave after wave, although the clarity lacked. Colombia could have just faltered. Colombia could just said, okay, well, here we go again against big teams. Well, we tried. It's been good.
Yeah. But
they didn't. It's a team that mentally is strong. They're a team now that compared to teams of the past are more combative. That they understand that it's not just about beautiful football. That if I need to go into the mud with you, I will go into the mud with you. And you're going to have some scars in the process. And if I don't beat you, you're going to remember me. I'm going to leave a mark that you will remember me with. And Colombia, that's a different attitude now. It's a different mentality, but also, if we're going to beat you with good football, we're going to absolutely beat you with good football. So they have that. The case is doing it in matches that count, in matches that there's something at stake, and more importantly, if there's a trophy at stake. Colombia haven't done that. This Colombia side haven't done it, and they're facing a team that has done it on so many occasions in the recent years that they're kind of used to it, and they also know how to suffer if it's required.
Yeah. And, another thing I'm going to bring up, this is, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just pulling these stats off the top of my head. But, the last two times they faced each other in the Copa America, it was both penalty shootouts, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, Colombia beat, it was, it was a shootout in Copa America. First of all, last time they faced off, actually, Argentina's the last team to beat Colombia.
Yeah. I think it was maybe 2015, Romero.
2019, Colombia beat Argentina.
Right. That's right. Correct. It's always been really close. The games have never been, I think maybe the only time it was, and even then it still went to penalty shootout was the Copa America 2015, I believe. I'm not one of those. And this time around, I could see it's going to be the same way. A lot of people, a lot of the fans have been asking me, so of course I'm going to throw one of those questions out there. Is it going to be another, Chile-Argentina situation? But I counter that by saying those two times in the Copa America where they lost back-to-back, Argentina was in a stunning run of form. Messi was prime Leo Messi. They were just blowing people away, and then, they fell in the shootout. This time around, they're sort of limping to the final. As you said, they haven't gotten to that gear as yet. Do you think this time around that Colombia could add that physicality that could throw them off their game? Because the reason why I say that, throughout the tournament, Paredes, DePaul, McAllister, and those guys, DePaul has been uncharacteristically not his usual self. He's doing a lot of missed time. I saw a lot of turnovers, a lot of giveaways. Do you think that they have been found out? Like, this is the way to destabilize Argentina's midfield. And with Messi not being the Messi of old, that this could be an upset. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be something that needs to be looked at in terms of Argentina. I understand too that for Lionel Scaloni, it also ends up being a situation where, I mean, do you want to be that coach that ends up ushering out this older generation of players? You kind of say, well, let them kind of usher themselves out, and that'll be interesting to see in the coming days and weeks how that ends up kind of setting, and especially when you have the Garnachos, when you have the younger players looking and trying to get into one of those spots. I mean, Colombia doesn't want to play physical football. If they're forced into that, they'll go into that. And don't get me wrong, and they're easy to be. They can be baited into that. That's what Colombia are more worried about. Obviously, Messi is an issue. Obviously, Alvarez or Lautaro Martinez and Di Maria. Same thing with De Paul and McAllister. But also probably the best thing and the simplification of everything is finding out that, well, Chelsea were using Enzo Fernandez wrong all along.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Scaloni uses him is the way he's accustomed. He's a deep line midfielder, and I've told Chelsea fans this in the past. Hey, he plays way too high when he's playing with Chelsea. That's not the way he plays. He's dropping back, and he's the one that kind of sets the tone from the back. Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, that's something I actually agree with. I actually had that argument with a Chelsea fan on the way here. He was saying, it seems like he's a totally different guy, and I said exactly
because they use him totally different.
Yep, correct. That's
I mean,
why would you? Yeah, not on like I spent an entire hour trying to explain to this guy, oh, that's a skill set. Let's play him somewhere else. Can he play it? Sure, but that's something for Chelsea fans, which we'll talk about as well. Because a lot of Chelsea fans have been DMing me, and saying, what is this Enzo guy that plays for Argentina? And we just answered that question for them. So
clip it out.
Yeah. It's on social media.
Yes. So I mean, like I said, Colombia's not. I mean, they're not scared against Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Colombia have their confidence. Colombia know this is. I mean, and I've said it a few times already. This is more of an exorcism of demons than anything else that Colombia have to willfully go into and understand that. They might look. It's simple. They might win. They might lose. Okay. They might win. They might lose. But it's not the end of the process. This is not their be all and end all. Okay. If Colombia won the Copa America, well, okay, fine. It's all done. Thank you very much. No. They're looking to go and strive to do greater things. For this generation that's playing right now, the Lucho Diaz, the James, and all that generation, their ultimate goal is not, well, let's just win the Copa America. No, because ask Italy. Okay, what winning a continental tournament means without getting to a World Cup, it means nothing. How much? Yeah, good.
Yeah, I have a lot of Italian friends right now. Would definitely testify to that.
Because the ultimate objective is going to the World Cup and qualifying in the World Cup and getting deep into the World Cup and competing to be one of those teams trying to lift that trophy over at MetLife. That's what it is. That's the objective. Will they get there? I don't know. I mean, that's something that it's a bit of an unknown. It's a bit of a reach to say, yeah, Colombia's going to win the World Cup. No. But at the end of the day, when they end up taking off that jersey and no longer playing, they want fans like you. They want fans like the ones that are watching Extra Time TV. They want the fans that are watching in the UK and in the US and in other countries. When you're asked the question, who are the big teams in South America? They want you, in particular, to go start saying Argentina, Brazil, Colombia. I mean, without even thinking. They want you to think that. They want you to that's the bar that they've set themselves up to be in 2, 3, 4 years' time. That's what they want you as the fan to believe. And that's part of the building block towards it. So it's a big stepping stone towards that, but it's not the be all and end all, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. Their vision is more of a long-term vision.
Yeah, correct. I definitely saw even, before when they brought Peckerman in, he is known for, at least with Argentina, as a good developmental coach. You saw some improvements. James was a good example. Those guys sort of kind of came to the forefront around that time. And then I was wondering, did it kind of fall off? And then you could see now there's some continuity. They really want to get there. Of course, who doesn't want to win a Copa America? It is very competitive. Now, but I get what you're saying, and I think it's the same with Uruguay as well.
Keep in mind, Colombia's at a major turnaround. It's not just a streak. People talk about, they won 28 in a row, or that they've gone winless, or unbeaten 28 in a row. It's not just that. It's the changing of a mentality, because it started with Peckerman. It does get cut off, and then you bring Carlos Queiroz, and it's a complete 180 Andre.
Yeah.
You end up having a team with a completely different football methodology, a different mentality that doesn't kind of fit in with how they, forget football, how they view life in terms of being that structured and that established. Then Reinaldo Rueda comes in. Keep in mind, a lot of these players were part of that World Cup process where if they would have scored one goal throughout a 7-game stretch, they would have qualified for the World Cup. And they didn't. They didn't score a goal in 7 matches. 7 in World Cup qualifying. That doesn't get you anywhere. And yet the coach and the media in Colombia were saying, "Oh, it's great. We got a point. Oh, it's great. That's fine. 1 point is better than none." But at a certain point, when you only start getting 1 point at a time, then you know what? 3 is usually better than 1. And we need 3 more than we need 1. And that's where things got really hairy for Reinaldo Rueda and company, because it was such a, well, at least we didn't lose mentality.
Yeah.
Now it's, damn, we better win mentality.
Yeah.
And if we draw, well, we did what we could.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like a little bit of Trinidad and Tobago football right now. You know, that's some shade being thrown there. But, you know, this is...
that's why teams in the Caribbean, and I said it on one of the networks that I usually do coverage in, that you need to bring a South American coach. Stop with the England. Stop with England. Stop with the Germans. Stop with the Dutch. Stop with those that don't identify whatsoever in any way, shape, or form with your way of viewing life and your way of viewing football. Clip that one out.
I totally agree with that. That's definitely social media worthy, folks. You know, a hot take from the one, the only Arango, because it's good because, you know, I've been saying that for a long time. But, you know, just to head back to the Copa America, I know we're limited on time and you have to go now. So, you know, in terms of key players, I think it's like, it goes without saying everybody's going to say Leo Messi, but let's just go crazy. For Argentina, key player, let's take Messi out of the equation. Who do you think is going to be the key player for Argentina?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah, I'll delve into that.
Yeah.
I think it's Angel Di Maria, number 1. Because he is that lightning rod of a why for Argentina. Because his last game with the national team, now, unless Scaloni continues with his fetish of Nico Gonzalez, that kind of changes everything that I say. But Di Maria, still, like you said, is fresh enough, is still fast enough, and is still sharp enough to be able to make a difference against the Colombia defense. And again, it comes down to the midfield. I mean, we can talk about Messi all day, but that's kind of, you know, I could just say Messi and we just get up and leave. All right. Yep. Well, yeah, Messi has to make a difference. Okay, yeah. Yep. Tell me something I didn't know.
Yeah.
But also the fullbacks have been a bit underwhelming as of late.
Yep, correct.
Keep in mind, either Nahuel Molina or Gonzalo Montiel, it's probably going to be Montiel at this point, has to deal with Lucho Diaz. We talked about, Di Maria. No. Lucho Diaz has had a good tournament. Yep. He's missed a lot of opportunities. He scored a couple of goals here and there. But Argentina are going to have to deal with a lot of things too. I mean, so it's not that they're, you know, yeah, Colombia does allow certain things defensively. They're not a high-pressure team. But when they have the ball, watch out, because they do have Lucho Diaz. They do have, I mean, John Córdoba has been another one that's really developed and established himself as a starter for Colombia. And he's going to be quite a load for both Cuti Romero as well as Lisandro Martinez. James, of course, offers his thing. I mean, it's all that. Maybe Santiago Arias, to a certain extent, will be a more defensive option, although he can bomb forward on occasion. You know, John Arias has also established himself. The biggest question for Colombia coming into this match is Richard Rios. How healthy is he going to be, if he's going to be able to play? Because he's been such a stalwart alongside Jefferson Lerma in the central midfield, I should say, that Colombia really have been extremely solid, and that could end up being one of the big differences in this match, seeing how those two end up playing, of course, with the 3 attacking options in front of them, and the 4th, if you include Córdoba, that ends up making a big difference because, yeah, of course, we can talk about Messi all day, but then also how do they respond to when Colombia's attacking, who are much faster, who are going to impose a much more intense pace and a much more intense level of play, something that Argentina haven't faced so far. Can they respond? Maybe. Yeah, they could. I think they could. They're veteran enough to do so.
Yes, and just to end things off before I do the final verdicts, it is exciting for me, even though I'm an Argentinian fan. I could take off that, fanboy thing and go into the unbiased analyst mode. I could say, this is exciting because, it really can go both ways. They're both really strong teams and, they have different strengths. And to me, it's exciting to sit down and think about it. I mean, while I'm driving on the way here, I was thinking about the different scenarios the way it could go, sending myself crazy. And, I'm going to ask, I really hate predictions because of how my mind works. But I'm gonna just put it out there. How do you think this is gonna go?
How do I think? No, I don't think how it's gonna go. I feel what I want. I'm gonna tell you more what I want. Okay, because it's not a prediction. It's a heartfelt. I want Colombia to win.
Nice.
I want Colombia to win 3-1. I want them to win. Now, will it? I don't know, but that's what I feel. That's what I hope, and that's what I believe could happen. But as far as prediction, it's not a prediction. It's a heartfelt sentiment.
Well, I could say the same because, like I said, I think it's perfect that people know that I'm an Argentina fan. And I could sit here with a straight face and say, I genuinely think I'm leaning towards the side of Colombia in terms of, being favored to get the result. That's just me. I mean, I could be wrong. That's a wonderful thing when you do these things. It could be absolutely crazy. Look at that World Cup final, how insane that was. That would be lovely if we get a final like that, for Argentina fans.
You know what? It will be interesting. I mean, how, not just for Argentina, if they step up, for Colombia, if they get knocked down. Okay, Argentina scored 1. Okay, Argentina's ahead 2-0. How do you respond to that?
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about processes. You're talking about this. Well, here it is. Here's the biggest test that you've had up to now. Respond. Yeah. So it's a combination of all that. So you wanna look at it with your heart beating at 120, 130, but then you also want to sit back with a cigar in your hand, saying, "Okay, fine. Okay, show me exactly what you're all about."
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting in both scenarios.
Yes. It will definitely be a testament to what Colombia is trying to do. Not just winning for the sake of winning, but this is a real scenario, and they've got a lot of tests. And to be fair, they got more tests than Argentina, as far as I saw. And I'm excited to see how it goes. Like I said, I'm perfectly okay putting my Argentina fanboy side aside to say that I think Colombia has a bit of an edge in this thing, but we'll see how it goes. Fans, you can let us know what you think in the comment section. Scan that QR code. Also, I'm going to throw a bit of trivia there before we go because Juan has lots of things to do. You could let us know the last time Colombia won the Copa America. It was a very interesting scenario. There's a lot of chaos. That's all I'll say. But you could let me know the year they won, where it was hosted, and drop that in there, and we'll do a random selection, and one of you guys or gals will get a jersey of your choice. And also, I know my social media girl, Maria Castro, is a Colombian, so it's pretty obvious who she's going to support. So, we'll have some fun with that. So, Juan, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking time to share your insight with us. It's always valued. And we'll probably have lots more discussions after the Copa America, and we'll see if Colombia steps up to the plate and, lets people know that they mean business, or will Argentina just, do what they do and win another title, which, we'll see how it goes. So
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So, Juan, it's a pleasure. And folks, stay tuned. We'll be chatting right after the final. And also, we'll be talking about the Euros with Terry Fennick. And maybe Juan if he wants to join us. So we'll see you soon.
All right, later.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.